Simplify to thrive. Embracing Stoic philosophy for a meaningful life. Introduction. The universal question. Have you ever found yourself running faster and faster on life's treadmill, only to realize you're not actually going anywhere? Picture this. It's 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Your phone buzzes with another work email. Your to-do list has somehow grown longer despite crossing off 12 items today. Your dining table has become a makeshift office, and you can't remember the last time you sat there just to enjoy a meal. In the background, a podcast plays at X speed because even your learning needs to be optimized. You're doing more than ever, yet somehow feeling less alive. You're not alone. We've collectively fallen into a trap of equating busyness with worth, productivity with purpose. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoics discovered a profound truth nearly 2 millennia ago that's more relevant now than ever? What if the path to a richer, more meaningful life isn't about doing more, but about doing less, with greater intention? Chapter 1. The Myth of More. The breaking point. The morning Sarah's coffee cup shattered on her kitchen floor was the moment everything changed. She stood there, surrounded by ceramic shards and spilled coffee, tears streaming down her face. It wasn't about the cup. It was about the 14-hour workdays, the missed family dinners, the meditation app she never opened, and the vacation days she never took. I'm doing everything, she whispered to herself. So, why does it feel like I'm missing my own life? Have you ever felt that way? Like you're simultaneously doing everything and missing everything? The ancient warning. In his timeless essay on the shortness of life, Seneca wrote to his friend Paulinus, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested." These words echo across centuries into our notification-filled, productivity-obsessed world. The Stoics understood something we've forgotten: the art of living well isn't about expanding our to-do lists, but about contracting them with purpose. The first principle, presence over productivity. Consider a tree in winter. It appears to be doing nothing, yet beneath the surface, it's gathering strength for spring. Nature never rushes, yet everything gets accomplished. This is our first lesson in the art of slow living. True productivity isn't about speed. It's about presence. Chapter 2. The Wisdom of Less. The Power of Subtraction. When was the last time you celebrated removing something from your life rather than adding to it? We live in a world obsessed with accumulation. More skills, more achievements, more possessions. Yet the ancient Stoics understood that wisdom often lies not in addition, but in subtraction. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the emperor of Rome, kept his life remarkably simple. Very little is needed to make a happy life, he wrote in his personal journals. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking, the clearing. Think of your life as a garden. Just as a skilled gardener knows that pruning is essential for growth, we must learn to cut away the non-essential to allow the essential to flourish. This isn't about deprivation, it's about curation. Chapter 3. Digital Simplicity. The modern challenge. Your phone buzzes. Without thinking, your hand reaches for it. This dance repeats dozens, perhaps hundreds of times each day. The Stoics never had to contend with the constant pull of digital notifications, yet their teachings on mental freedom are perfectly suited for our hyper-connected age. The Stoics' Guide to Technology. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from understanding what is and isn't within our control. While we can't control the existence of digital technology, we can control our relationship with it. What if we approached our devices with the same intentionality a Stoic philosopher would? Consider these questions. Does this notification serve my highest purpose? Is this app adding value to my life or merely adding noise? Am I using technology, or is it using me? The practice of digital distance. Like the Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort. Try this. Place your phone in another room for 1 hour each evening. Notice the initial discomfort. Notice how it fades. This is the first step in reclaiming your attention. Chapter 4. The Art of Selective Effort. The Paradox of Achievement. Meet James, a corporate executive who prided himself on working 16-hour days. I rest when I succeed, he would say. But when asked to define success, he realized he couldn't. The goalpost kept moving. His story mirrors the warning of Seneca: they lose the day in expectation of the night, and the night in fear of the dawn. The Stoics' path to progress. The Stoics understood something profound about achievement. It's not about doing everything, but about doing the right things well. Epictetus advised his students to focus on what's within their control and accept what isn't, a simple principle with revolutionary implications for how we approach our goals. The practice of intentional action. Imagine your energy as a precious resource, like water in a desert. How would you use it differently if you truly treated it as finite and sacred? The Stoic approach to achievement isn't about pushing harder, it's about choosing better. Chapter 5: The Sacred Art of Ritual Beyond Routine. Have you ever noticed how a simple cup of morning coffee can feel either like a rushed necessity or a sacred moment of solitude? The difference lies not in the action itself, but in how we approach it. The Stoics were masters of ritual, particularly in how they began their days. Seneca practiced daily reflection each morning, while Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations at dawn. They understood that how we start our day shapes how we live our day, creating modern ceremonies. Think of ritual as a bridge between the philosophical and the practical. It's not about adding more to your schedule, but about transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. The key is intention. Chapter 6: Finding Peace in Limitation. The prison of endless choice. Walk into any modern supermarket and you'll find 40 different types of toothpaste. Open Netflix and you'll face thousands of options. We think of choice as freedom, but the Stoics understood that unlimited choice can become its own form of imprisonment, the liberation of less. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, Epictetus taught, but in having few wants. This isn't just about material possessions, it's about simplifying all aspects of life, our commitments, our relationships, our goals. The practice of boundaries. Consider a river. It flows freely precisely because it has banks. Without boundaries, it would lose its power and purpose, becoming a formless marsh. Our lives are no different. Chapter 7: The Lost Art of Leisure. The productivity paradox. I'll relax when ... double quotes. How many times have you completed that sentence? We've created a world where rest must be earned and leisure must be productive. Even our self-care has become another item on our to-do list. Stoic joy. The Stoics weren't joyless philosophers sitting on mountaintops. They understood that true happiness comes not from constant striving, but from aligning with nature's rhythm of effort and ease, reclaiming true rest. What if you approached rest not as something you do after everything else is done, but as an essential part of living well? Like a fallow field that needs time to regenerate, your mind and spirit need periods of genuine renewal. Chapter 8: Community and Connection. The Myth of Self-Sufficiency. We live in an age of unprecedented independence, yet rates of loneliness have never been higher. The Stoics, while advocating for internal strength, understood that humans are inherently social creatures, the circle of concern. Marcus Aurelius began his meditations by thanking all the people who had influenced his life. He understood that no one becomes wise in isolation. Who are the people helping you grow? More importantly, who are you helping? Building modern community. In our digital age, true connection has become both easier and harder. Here's how to create meaningful relationships in a world of shallow connections. Meet Thomas, a software developer who used to measure his success by the number of hours he worked. I was sprinting through my career, he says, until I realized I was in a marathon. His transformation began when he started asking not how much can I do today, but how long can I sustain this? The Stoic perspective on progress. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, compared philosophy to a fertile field. First it needs to be thoroughly plowed and fertilized, preparation. Then the seeds must be sown, learning. And finally the harvest comes, application. Nothing in this process can be rushed. Chapter 10: Daily Practices for Modern Life. The Architecture of Days. Imagine your day as a house. Every house needs both structure and space, rooms for activity and rooms for rest. The Stoics understood that a well-lived life requires both discipline and flexibility. The modern Stoics took it. Morning reflection begin each day by asking, what is essential? What can I control? What truly matters? Intentional spacing create deliberate gaps between activities, like punctuation in a sentence. These pauses give meaning to our actions. Evening review end each day with these questions. What went well? What could I improve? What am I grateful for? Chapter 11. Navigating change and uncertainty, the only constant. Have you ever noticed how a river maintains its essential nature despite constantly changing? Every moment, it's made of different water, yet it remains the same river. Our lives are similar. Constant change doesn't have to mean constant chaos. Embracing impermanence. The Stoics viewed change not as an enemy to be resisted, but as nature's fundamental rhythm. Epictetus taught that our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Finding stability in motion. Like a sailor who cannot control the wind but can adjust the sails, we can learn to work with change rather than against it. This isn't resignation, it's strategic adaptation. Chapter 12. The Journey Forward, the Continuous Path. As we conclude our journey together, remember that simplification isn't a destination but a practice. Like the Stoic philosophers of old, we're not seeking perfection, but progress. Your next steps. Choose one area of your life to simplify this week. Create one meaningful ritual for your day. Identify one commitment you can release. Design one space in your life for genuine rest. The ongoing practice. Remember Sarah from our opening chapter. 2 years after her coffee cup moment, she reflected, I'm doing less, but I'm living more. My days are simpler, but somehow richer. I'm not just existing in my life anymore, I'm actually living it. Epilogue. Living the simple life. As you close these pages, know that this is not an ending, but a beginning. The path of simplicity and meaning lies before you. Like the Stoics before us, we have the opportunity to choose a different way of being in the world. Remember, simplicity is not about deprivation, but about intention. Slow living is not about moving slowly, but about moving purposefully. Success is not about doing more, but about doing what matters. The ancient Stoics left us a profound gift, the understanding that a meaningful life doesn't require more. It requires better choices about less. What will you choose to simplify today? The end.